Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today I am doing some quilting on my embroidered block quilt, and I'm going to start with the outer border. So I want to show you how I'm going to go about quilting that. Now, I showed you in a previous video some ideas that I had for this quilt, and I showed you the heart border that I wanted to put in, and that's what I'm going to work on today. And let me get a wider angle here. As you can see, all of my purple marks have faded away except for this one here that I just drew on. So I'm going to start all over again. It's been probably 2 weeks since I've been able to get time to work on this. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my lines here, and I'm using a gridded stencil that is 1.5 inches wide between the lines here, and I am just putting little dots in about every 2 or 3 of these slits here, and that's going to give me the guideline. So I'm going to do this all the way across the border, and I'm starting in the center and I'm working out. So this here is my center line, this one here, and then I'm going to work out, and that will help me line everything up and not have to worry about math so much. So and it's fast. So I'm just going to do this. And just continue all the way across. Now, if these lines, if you do this on your quilt and you have trouble seeing those, you can also go through and, like here on the center, just connect your dots so that you can see them better, and that will give you the guideline on the spacing for your quilting design. And I'm just keeping my stencil perpendicular to my border, and just go all the way across. What I want is for when I get to the edge, when I get to the ends of the border, I want the design to look the same on both sides. I don't want it to look off. So from one side to the other. And we'll see how this turns out. Now, in the corners, my spacing is not coming out perfectly even from the center. When I get to the end of the border, I have about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of space there. So I can kind of fudge this and get it so it looks evenly spaced. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. Okay, when I got to the end of the border here, this is the seam line that goes here, so here's my corner here. When I got to here, I've got like a finger's width of space here. It's about 1/2 inch of space, and that's not very much, so that can just kind of be blended in to the design here. Now, in the corner, I could do a big heart in here, or I could do something else, and I'm not real certain. I'm going to go ahead and mark this edge here so that I can see where that corner is, and I can put a big heart in there, and then start doing the curve in there. So if you have a heart template, you know, you can use that. You can draw it freehand. You could do anything else in there that you want. Okay, I have some heart templates here. These are from June Taylor, and I'm going to just play around with these and find the one that will fit best in my corner and use that. So they're on a little piece of chain here, and let's see if I can get those apart. And they have numbers on them, and they're marked like this is number F, which is way too big. I can already tell that. That one's too large. And this one is pretty good. Might be a little bit large. I think I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm going to give myself another guideline so that I get this one at on the diagonal really well. So there's my line, and then I can just follow up with the center there. And I'm giving myself plenty of room out here so that I don't cut it off with my binding. And then I'm just going to trace around it, and there I have my heart. So I'll do that on all the corners, and that way I will have the same shaped heart in each corner. And then this is the next smaller one. I could put this one in to take up more space. I could add another one, or I could just put this one in and just put that one where I want it. You could also, you know, do a filler in here if you want to, but I think I'll do that. So I'm using A and C for my design, so I'll do that in the corners. Okay, when I get to this corner here, I've drawn my design all the way across just to kind of give me an aid here. I'm going to go ahead and bring this around and end it like I would, and then just carry it through as if I'm going to finish that design, and I'm just going to leave it like that, and I think that will be fine on this quilt. Of course, you can do whatever you like if you want to, and this could be carried down like here, and you know, it's just you know, and it just kind of blends in this design in with that. So you can do it however you want. You could just also bring this around and just make this part of the loop larger if you want to. So whatever you want to do on that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start quilting this, and we'll see how this looks. Okay, I'm going to go in automatic, which is stitch regulated mode, and quilt this design in. Now the thread I'm using is, let me pull that through. I've got a new spool on here. I'm using an Omni thread by Superior, and it's in the color cream. And this is a 30 text thread, so and it's a polyester wrapped poly, so it's different from the YLI thread that was previously on here. So let me get that off. It's a thinner thread than the YLI, and it's marked as a 30 text instead of a 30 weight, so I think it's probably more of a 50 weight is what it looks like to me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this part of the corner first. Just do this little heart, and I'm just going to do some real tiny stitches, and then I'm going to do my best to follow my design here. And then back stitch a little bit and break this thread. And of course you can make this design where you don't have to break your thread if you want. And then I'll do the outer design and do it the same way. Do some little tiny stitches. And you notice I didn't stay exactly on the lines, and that's okay, because once those drawn lines are faded out, you're not going to be able to tell. So that's one thing you don't have to get so hung up on. Okay, I am going to adjust the camera so you can see a little bit better, because I know my left arm is going to get in the way and you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to start here in the corner. And then do this heart here. you may notice on here I'm not following exactly on the lines either, but I am trying to get the design to touch at the top and at the bottom, where the bottom of the heart meets the top of the next heart. So I'm trying to do that. Okay, now to the corner, and I'll do the center heart first. And then do the outer heart here. Okay, now if I can, okay, I'm going to get my spray bottle and then I'll spray all these marks away, and then we can see what this looks like. Okay, I just have plain water in a spray bottle. Now this is an air-soluble marker, so it really doesn't need the water to get these marks to go away, but this will just speed it up. And it'll take a while for them all to go away, but they will. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold the camera because I get some strange lines from my overhead lights otherwise. But here is the corner where I just kind of ended that design, and then it just goes right into the corner. And then here is the interlocking hearts, the tessellating hearts. And most of the pen marks have gone away. I only sprayed this through about half of the border. And you can see in places like here, you can see the threads from this purple border that have worked their way out. I didn't see those until I wet the quilt, so I'm not going to worry about them. But if you get this and you can see them through there, you can get a tiny crochet hook and go between the weave of your fabric and pull those out. But I'm not going to worry about that. It's kind of typical of batik fabric. It tends to unravel a lot. At least this kind is. It's not a wax batik. It's just it's kind of like a hand-dyed batik. So there's that heart border. I think it's looking pretty well. I like that. And I'll show you over here on the part where I haven't removed the marks yet. And you can see how I didn't stay exactly on the lines. But what I did was I kind of improved the heart shape. Like on this one, I had it dipping down way too far. So I just, as I was quilting, I just fixed that as I was going. So I think this will look really good. And it's not a difficult border. It's just you get your spacing with your stencil to begin with, and draw your hearts out if you want to ahead of time, or just do them freehand. And I think that makes a nice border. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.